Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're all doing well. I know I haven't done a show for a few days. There's not been too much happening in terms of Man United. The transfer, I think quite a few people are getting a little bit worried about the transfer market and stuff like that. So I haven't been too active on YouTube in particular. So I thought we'd do just a bit of a transfer roundup show today. Just talk about what's going on, what I think might happen in the future. So yeah, as always, please subscribe if you're new, and yeah, thanks a lot for your support as always. Before I start, I just wanted to make an announcement about a bit of analysis. So I have prepared some analysis on Julian Timber, so the Ajax centre back or right back, can play in both positions. That Manchester United have been reportedly interested in. The deal has gone a little bit quiet in the last few days. Whether that's because we're solely trying to focus on De Jong at the moment, and that Timber deal might be, so we know maybe there's not much competition for Timber, so we're prioritising the Frenkie De Jong deal. I don't know, but I've got some analysis coming out on Timber. At this moment in time, I'm not fully sure when it's going to be released. I was thinking, I tweeted out on Thursday, so earlier today, I did tweet out that it's going to be released in the next couple of days, but this all depends on timing and stuff. So I'm just going to post it when I think's best. So keep on the lookout on my Twitter for some Julian Timber analysis. So that's going to be posted. I talk about his strengths, weaknesses, Ten Hag system. So I talk a little bit about that on there. So that's going to be posted soon, I imagine. Obviously, if there's some breaking news with De Jong and stuff like that in the next few days, maybe in the next day or so, I will obviously delay the post of the Timber analysis, so I'm just going to post that when it's most relevant, really, so it can reach as many people as possible. So that's the first little thing. Then I just want to talk about transfers. So I think a lot of people are getting a bit frustrated. I put a couple of tweets out on Wednesday, I think it was on Wednesday, about transfers. It's just getting a little bit frustrating at the moment. Looks like Darwin Nunez could be on the way to Liverpool. Agreed personal terms. David Ornstein has tweeted. As always, very, very reliable for these sort of breaking news stories. So Liverpool have understood to have agreed personal terms for Darwin Nunez, but not signed, and talks between clubs are ongoing between over the structure of the potential deal. So it looks like Nunez could be getting closer to Liverpool. I've always said I'm not particularly keen on signing Nunez. Obviously, Ten Hag knows what he wants to do. I don't know more than Ten Hag, but I'm not too sure on Darwin Nunez for us at this moment in time in terms of the football we want to play, where we are in terms of other positions in the pitch. I think midfield's more important. I think the defensive areas are more important. I think even the wide players could be more important at the moment than a striker in terms of that calibre of striker, spending 80 million on a striker. I think if we were to bring in a striker, I think we should be bringing in a striker looking for maybe a younger striker. I know he's only young, but generally speaking, we should be looking for a younger striker that doesn't mind playing second fiddle to Ronaldo for the rest of the season. Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to be sat on the bench in the league matches. He's not going to want to do that. That will cause a problem. So whoever comes in for us, if we are to sign a striker, it needs to be someone who's confident to be second choice, really, or play the cup games or the UEFA, the Europa League games, or whatever it might be, the group stages. And obviously we might be prioritising that competition later on in the season. But yeah, that's just something on Darwin Nunez. Frenkie De Jong saga continues. It looks like Barcelona are going to have to sell. It looks like we might be the favourites to sign him, but there's still some issues regarding Champions League football in terms of trying to persuade Frenkie De Jong, really want to come to United if there's no Champions League football. That's still yet to be seen. It looks like that could be a bit of a stumbling point there. As I said, the Timber deal, I feel like that's not died. I feel like that Timber deal is still alive. I just think maybe it's been shoved under the carpet for maybe a few weeks, a week or so, just to prioritise on this Frenkie De Jong deal. Maybe that's the most important deal they want to get over the line. But even if we do sign Frenkie De Jong, we still need another midfield player on top. There's Ibrahim Sangare from PSV, available for apparently around 35 million. That would be a fantastic signing in my eyes if we get him and De Jong in, and Timber in, and a fullback and an attacking player, and I think that would be a good summer. It's been reported 120 million budget plus player sales, so you're looking at 150, 160 million, I would imagine. So, if you do sign De Jong for, what will it be? It'd probably be about 70 million, around 70 million. If you sign Sangare, that's about 100 million. Then if you sign Timber, 135, 140 million. You're struggling a bit then, really. You probably got one more signing with the money that's been reported. So obviously you can't move for an Nkunku or a Nunez, really. They're very, very expensive players, so you're going to have to look for more of a gem. You've got a Schamacka who plays for Sassuolo, the striker. I don't know whether anyone's heard of Schamacka, but he's a very, very good player. Good link-up play, young, aggressive, 6'4" or 5", I think he is a good target man, but he can also play, he's very, very technical. He can also play with his feet as well as score headed goals, so I think he could be a good option at striker if we can't sign one of the big hitters as such. But I'm not too interested in about the striker. I think midfield and I think we need definitely one fullback, one centre back, two midfield players. I think that for me is the priority. I think a striker, a winger, yes, we do need those positions. But for me, at this moment in time, I think get Frenkie De Jong over the line, make sure we get another midfielder with him, and sign a centre back and a fullback. That would be my sort of. That's where I think we need to improve, because I generally think a football team that has a better spine, a football team that is stronger defensively, with more ability in midfield, you're generally going to score more goals. You're going to be able to sustain pressure better. You're going to have midfield players that can break up the play better. You're going to concede less goals. You're going to have more sort of territory in the opposition half, and you are naturally going to score more goals anyway. Even if your striker is not as good as it could be, or is not as prolific as one that we could sign, you're still going to score more goals because you're going to have more possession. You're going to create more chances because you're going to have more of the ball, thanks to the better defensive midfield player that we're going to bring in. So I think people need to see it that way. If you bring in a striker like Nunez, who is not going to create chances and be part of the link-up play as much, and you're going to blow more or less the whole budget on him, you're not going to be able to sign two midfielders, a centre-back and a full-back with the reported budget that we're going to have. You're not going to get the ball to him as often, because you're not going to create as many chances, because you're not going to have as much possession, because you're not going to break up the opposition play so much, and that is because you've not got that defensive midfield player that can break up play, or that centre-back who can, like Timber, who can come out of the defensive line and be aggressive and start the sort of prevent the opposition from counter-attacking and start our own team on the attack. So that's how you've got to view it, really, a different way. I know there's a lot of different steps to it, but it's not you just put a good striker in. Obviously, Ronaldo's fantastic. It's not just you sign a young striker and you automatically score more goals. It's not about that. It's about the team structure, the team shape, the sort of the cohesive nature of the team, being a unit on and off the ball. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. I think we need to prioritise the midfield and defensive areas first, personally. Any other news? I don't think there's too much in terms of signings. Obviously, we've heard that obviously Lingard's going to be going. We know Mata's going to be going. We know probably Jones is going to be going. We know Dean Henderson is probably on the way out. So we've got a lot of players leaving the club. Martial still unsure. We've heard that Rashford could be a player that Ten Hag really, really likes. So we'll wait and see. But that's sort of it for the little transfer update. There's another bit of news really about Anthony. Apparently his sort of staff have maybe negotiating with Man United at the moment. I'm not fully sure on that. We'll see what comes of that. But that's it for the moment, really, in terms of the transfer roundup. I try and make these videos a little bit shorter so you can just sort of condense it into 10, 15, 20 minutes, so it's easier for you to sort of get all the big stories. So yeah, as always, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, please subscribe, and please look out for my analysis at ThreadmanChazza on Twitter, the same username as my YouTube. We've got some Jury and Timber analysis coming out soon. But again, thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and let's hope that we start to get active in the transfer market, because we need to get going. I'm sure the protests against the Glazers will always continue, but let's actually see now there's been some change behind the scenes with Murto, with Arnold. Where is this change? I'm not saying that it definitely won't come, but I'm not saying it definitely will come. I'm still very, very doubtful and unsure on what's quite happening. There haven't been as many sort of leaks. We don't really know exactly what's going on. In previous years, we as fans we've heard a lot more about what's going on, and which shouldn't happen. We seem to be acting a little bit more sort of secretly than we used to. But let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes in the next couple of months. Remember, the season starts earlier this season because of the Winter World Cup. So 6th of August, I think the season starts. So we're on the 9th of June today. So we've got just sort of 8 weeks really until the start of the season. So let's start to see some changes. Let's obviously keeping the protests up against the Glazers as always. Keep the pressure on. But let's start to see whether behind the scenes we've really changed. So thanks for watching, and see you later.